whiskey. Hey, welcome to this lesson. I'm Kev from theTikiNation.com, and today we're going to be learning one of my favorite all-time Christmas songs, and it is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. This song was written in 1944, and it was written for Judy Garland, who you may remember was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, right? And it was featured in the movie Meet Me in St. Louis. It was written by Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine, 1944. So it's a really fun song, and the chords are pretty easy, and it's great for your Christmas repertoire. So let's get started. All right, the chords are pretty basic. We only have one bar chord that might give you a little trouble, but let's go through the standard chords first. G chord, E minor, A minor. We've also got an A7, which is just one finger right here. We've got a D7, two fingers. You can use these two fingers also. Depends on what your next chord is, right? So if you're playing a D7 like this and your next chord goes to a G7, then you want to play it like that. If you're playing a D7 to a G, you want to play it like that. Position, position, position. Learn how to do it both ways. So we have a G7 chord. We've got our fabulous C chord. And we've got one that's even easier than that, A minor 7. All it is strumming all the strings at one time. It's also called a C6, but we're going to call it A minor 7 for this song. We have a C major 7th. Now the C major 7th is one finger on the second fret, but use your middle finger because that's the better form. We have one finger for each fret. The middle finger belongs on that second fret. C major 7, beautiful chord. We have our E7, our easy B7 without a bar, which is just like our E minor chord if we switch lanes, right? Switch lanes is B7. And then we have our B minor. So to do the B minor chord, we want to bar the first three strings, strings 1, 2, and 3. And then we can arch our finger over to get the B note on the 4th fret, which is the root of the chord, right? Now, if you have a high G, your B minor is going to sound different than mine. This is a high G. Still sounds pretty. You can do everything in this tutorial on either the low G or the high G, so don't worry about that. Now, on your B minor chord, if you can't get that bar no matter what you do, then just use these three strings and push down with your finger. And I only have my fingers down here so you can see what I'm doing. Normally you would leave your fingers up like that, ready. And here's the secret. If you pretend you're holding a remote control with your fretting hand, like that, you've already got those muscles built up. So just put it behind your neck, behind the neck of your uke, just like it's a remote control, and that will help you push down. You don't want your thumb straight across like this, right? You want your thumb to be like a remote control. Put it right there and then arch your finger over. If you have your finger touching the neck here, you'll never, that's really bad. You want to put a little space there and arch over. All right. I believe those are all the chords that we're going to need. So let's get started. All right, let's do verse number 1. It has a chord progression of G, E minor, A minor, and D7. And it repeats that 2 times with the words. So, starting on G, have your E minor, self a A minor, merry little D7, Christmas, and just drop that one finger down. Remember, you can play D7 with these 2 fingers or these 2 fingers, depending on what's easiest, and look at the chords you're going to play afterward. If you're going from D7 to G, then use this one. If you're going from D7 to G7, then use this one. Just an easy hop. Position, position, position. All right. So we've got our first two lines are going to be just with that progression. So I'll sing them and you practice them with me. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Now it changes up. We're going to play a G from now on. A minor 7, just open strings. Troubles will be D7, out of, then B7, easy B7, looks like an E minor, just switch lanes. Side, E7, here's a turnaround. A7, one finger, and D7. We repeat that same thing for the second verse with only one small variation. So we play it again. G, have yourself, E minor, a merry little D7, Christmas, G chord, make the Yuletide gay, D7. Now we do the last line, leading into our chorus. From now, E minor, on our troubles will be B7, far away. And then after away, that's when we add one additional transitional chord, the G7, which will lead us into the next part of the song, the chorus. Next, we're going to learn the chorus. So we're going to start with a super easy chord, the C major 7th chord. It's just one finger right on the 2nd fret. And I use the middle finger because if I'm playing in first position, that's the finger that should be there. Here we are, and then we're going to go to the hardest chord of the song, the B minor partial bar. So you can either bar the first three strings and take your ring finger and wrap it over, or if you can't do that yet, bar just the 3 like that, and just play those 3 strings and you can fake it till you make it. And a little tip on that B minor chord, hold your thumb like you're pushing a remote on the back, so your thumb is upward like a remote control, pushing down. That will give you the amount of pressure that you need to create that B minor chord. So, starting again, we're going to start with C major 7. Here we are, B minor, in the olden days. Easy A minor chord. Happy golden days. Drop your finger for a D7 of yore. And then we go to E minor. Faithful friends, back to that B minor chord, who are dear to us. Gather, D chord, near to us. A minor 7, once, D7, more. Awesome. Now we're going to move. Okay, we're in verse number 3 now. Same progression as verse 1 and 2, just different words. G chord, through the E minor years. A minor, we all will be D7 together. G chord, if the E minor fates allow. And then we have a little bit of a change in the end of the third verse. We have kind of it gets more climactic. So we play the G. So hang a E minor, shining A minor, star upon the highest bough, E minor. And then you play the C chord and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. All right, so that's all 3 of our verses. And if you want to start over, because it's a very short song, on that last turnaround, we add some turnaround chords, which will be E minor, A minor, D7. So we would do this. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. So hang a shining star upon the highest bough. And you can extend your voice out there. And then you say, and have yourself a merry little Christmas. And then we do this progression on the G chord to start from the beginning. Now G, E minor, A minor, D7. And that leaves us right into have yourself a merry little Christmas. All right, so we've covered verse 1, 2, our chorus, and verse 3 with the climactic ending, and our turnaround. So next we're going to learn a little more fancy schmancy way to strum this so you can impress your friends and neighbors. So far we've gone through the whole song, all the parts of the song, and we did it with just using the back of our index fingernail, and we're just dropping that across the strings, and we're just doing a really slow motion movement, right? Have yourself a merry little Christmas. You can do the whole song like that. It's beautiful like that. Sometimes less is more. But if you're going to repeat the song over, it's a very short song. So a lot of people like to go to the very end and then do it right from the beginning and do it over, and then they change up the way they play. So what makes the listener want to listen and the player have more fun? It's when you change up your dynamics. So we start with that beautiful, slow, rhythmic thing, and we go through it the first time. And the second time, maybe we're going to add a different strum. So here's an option for a new type of strum that you can add when you do it the second time. And I call this strum the slow thumb. It's a slow, quick mute technique starting with the thumb. So we've got our slow thumb, the back of our nails of our strumming hand, the index, middle, and ring finger, the back of those three nails dropping down, and then we're going to mute. And when we mute, we're going to use this part of our thumb right here, this flesh down here in our palm right below the thumb joint. So when I do it like that, I'm going to have a slow, quick motion, and it will change up kind of the feel and the dynamics of what we're doing. So I'll demonstrate it. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Fun, huh? So here's how we're going to do that. The first strum we're going to do with the side of our thumb. The side closest, like if you do a thumbs up, it's the side closest to the middle of your body, right? So boom, turn it that way, it's the side closest to your body. And you're just going to do a slow downward strum, make a G chord, and do a slow thumb, just like that. That's all you have to do. The second time, we're going to use the back of our three nails, and we're going to drop them on the strings. And as soon as they breach the string, we're going to open them up slightly. And we're just going to put our thumb down on the strings to mute it. You might think of it like an airplane. So if my hand here is an airplane and this is the runway, I've got the back of my three fingernails are my landing gear, right? So I'm coming downward, I drop my landing gear, they go across the runway, and then I hit on my brake. So I just landing, I go through the runway, I open up, and boom, my brake comes out. Takes a little practice to get it right, but you just have to do it a few times. It's not that hard. So for the entire progression, we're going to do a slow, we're going to do a slow with our thumb, slow, and then a quick with a mute. Slow, quick mute. Slow, quick mute. I'll demonstrate that through verse number 1. So here we go. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, troubles will be out of sight. Turn around, A7, D7. So you can see how just doing that slight alteration in the rhythm will change the entire feel of the song from that point. So next I'm going to show you another way you can do that slow quick technique that's a little more advanced, but it allows a lot more control in your dynamics. So we'll do that one next. All right, so we've done two different techniques for strumming. The back of the fingernail, slow. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. You could use your thumb for that one too. The back of the nail has a crisper tone, then the thumb has a softer tone. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. I prefer to have the sound of the back of the nail because it allows me to hear the strings. And if you're playing live, sometimes you need a little more of the higher tone to cut through the din of the performance venue. A more advanced way to do the technique is by arpeggiating the first chord. And the way you do that is you make a G chord. You're going to put your thumb on the top string, and you're going to grab the other three strings with your index, middle, and ring, right? So I have all three strings. I'm pushing down on my thumb, and I'm pulling up on these three. So I should be able to squeeze like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up on the thumb, and then I'm going to turn my hand and let the strings drip off the tips of my fingers. So it's kind of hard to see here, but I have just the tips of my fingers on the string. And when I turn my hand, I'm pulling off the tips of my fingers. So I'm gonna launch my thumb first. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it takes some practice. This is a more advanced technique. And what we're doing is we're arpeggiating as a verb, arpeggiating the chord, meaning breaking the chord apart. So we're going to do that as our slow. Arpeggiate. And then when your hand is turned up, to do the quick, you just flick your wrist down and mute it. So we got this arpeggiate and then flick it back down. Arpeggiate up, you turn your wrist a little bit, and then you flick down and mute with the same technique as before, except we're taking our wrist is slightly turned, and we drop it on the string. So why would I do that instead of going? Because I can control how long I want that to kind of hang out there. And I can control which of those four strings I want to ring out more. If I want the C string to ring out more, if I want the G string to ring out more, I can control that. I can also control the speed. I can control a lot of dynamics if I use that more advanced technique. I'll demonstrate the first verse with that technique. Play along with any technique you want. You can do one finger, or you can do the slow thumb with the quick mute, or you can do the arpeggiated strum with the flipping your nails down and muting. So here's the advanced technique. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Awesome. We have 3 cool techniques. So you could play the song, you could go through all the verses 3 times, or you could do one technique on one verse and then speed it up with the second technique. Remember, we've got our simple back of the finger, nail, or your thumb as our slow. Let it hang out there, less is more strum. And we've got our thumb quick strum, thumb quick with a mute, thumb quick. And we've got our third more advanced technique where we arpeggiate the chord, turn our wrist and flick down and mute. Awesome. So let's run through the entire song from start to finish so you can practice your techniques. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletides gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are in the olden days, happy golden day of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together, if the fates allow. So hang a shining star upon the highest bough. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now. And there you have yourself a merry little Christmas. So we've gone through a lot of different stuff, and as you can see, you can take this a lot further, but you've got enough to work on your basic level. You can start adding finger style techniques into there. Little more advanced arpeggio techniques and all sorts of fun things. But this will start you on your ukulele adventure on Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. My name is Kev from TikiNation.com. And please, have yourself a Merry Little Christmas. See you in the next one.
Because done is better than perfect.